they're pretty legit, man.
Look, regardless of all the controversy and all the shit you've said about Cyberpunk, it is still the most popular game on stream.
I mean,
And
that's
on
good for them.
Steam,
Good for them.
right now, and it's still the best-selling game of 2020 right now.
Haven't played it yet. Haven't played it yet. I would need to buy it, but again, I'm not like one of those people that like that kind of perspective in my gaming rig. I'm not that kind of person. I'm more of a old school, like I like to play arcade games and shit like that.
Yeah.
Not this kind of shit.
Well, I don't like first person either, but I've been enjoying the shit out of it.
I bet
I
it's
will
good.
say,
I'm gonna try to get myself a virtual fucking
I will
gaming
say,
rig next
there's a
this year.
lot of fucking glitches in it. I mean, people are not lying. Like I could tell you some shit that's fucked up. The very first time I played, I mean, this is the first time I popped, like, because it takes forever. When you get a new game, you have to fucking update it and upload and all
Update
this
and
bullshit.
download and
And you take
yeah.
forever. But when I fucking finally played the game and I start fucking playing the game, I'm driving down the street and right away I'm all like, this is the way I play. Okay, I don't give a shit what the game's telling me to do. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I play the game. And the game's telling me head towards Night City, and I'm like, fuck Night City. I'm just gonna drive down this fucking road, and I'm gonna see what's down this road. And so I start driving down the fucking road just straight, and then the arrow's telling me to turn right, and I'm like, keep going straight, and I keep going straight, dude. I
That's
think
pretty much you in real life.
yeah. I keep going straight. I'm like, fuck you, going right. I'm going straight. Anyways, so I went with it, and I just started going straight. I'm like, let's see what the fuck is down this road. Yeah! So I started going down the road, and I think the game fucking had a seizure or a hiccup. The game was all like, what is this? What is this player doing? He's not supposed to be going down here. Oh my god, what do we do? What do I do? And then all of a sudden, like, I was, like, it's almost like if time skipped in the game or something. Because I was all of a sudden in the middle of the desert in the car, and then there was all these people around me, and they were shooting at me, and I was all like, "What the fuck?" And then time skipped again, no, and then time skipped again, and I'm driving backwards. I'm driving backwards in the middle of the desert, and my car is just driving backwards,
Yeah.
and then time skips again, and my character's standing there, and then I just fall to the ground, and it says, "You just flatlined."
What?
And that was the first time. That was the absolute first time playing the fucking game, dude. That's the first glitch I encountered, but there's tons of glitches. Yeah. There's tons of glitches in the game. Yeah, it's not. I mean, dude, it's a big map. It's a big city, and it doesn't work properly because
where are you supposed to be, by the way? Like, is this like California, New York? What
so
is this?
let me run through you the story of Cyberpunk 2077, and this is the lore video for the rest of you motherfuckers. We're gonna explain the lore of Cyberpunk 2077 here, and if you can deal with glitches like the way Skyrim. To this very day, Skyrim has glitches. And if you like Skyrim and you can put up with shit like that, or games that have glitches like that, go buy Cyberpunk 77. It's 2077. It's not a bad game. It's a good story, and I think you'll enjoy it, even though it has glitches. There's gonna be updates and patches. This game is gonna get better.
I think if you're old enough as we are, you're gonna be okay with it because we went through some shitty fucking eras of time.
I fucking played the Atari, for fuck's sakes. You want to talk about shitty games? The Atari has some really shitty games, and I fucking played it for hours thinking it was wow, look at this. Yeah. This is amazing. It was just a stupid little ball being bounced by fucking two sticks and shit.
Yeah, I would play Mario Brothers when it was all pixelated and shit. And I would still make fucking like, oh no, that's a blockade right there. That's a monster right there.
You fucking kids are spoiled. I'm letting you all know, you little bitches. Mm-hmm. Anyways, between 1990 and the year 2020, there was 2 Central American wars. And what happened was that the United States, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, and the I think it's the ATF. Those 4 organizations, they band together and they secretly take over the government. These 4 organizations secretly took over the government, and they decided to they had enough of the drug wars, of the cocaine and all of these cartels from Central America, and they went and they started a Central American wars, and they sent troops down to Colombia and Bolivia and all of this Southern American countries, and it was basically Vietnam all over again and shit. And then over there in
In
the
the
Middle
jungle
East,
and shit. That
yeah,
looks cool.
and so over there in the Middle East, fucking in the Middle East, what ends up happening is that the Irans and Iraq and all that shit breaks out into living hell, and they start fucking nuking each other and shit. And with global warming and the nukes that went off over there in the Middle East, the Earth becomes a wasteland, and the climate changes and shit. You know, and so all of a sudden, America is basically ceasing to exist because of all the natural disasters and the wars that they were stuck in that were leading to nothing. And so slowly all the states they secede. And like first Texas leaves and they want to be their own country, and then California, Oklahoma, and they all start leaving. Um, they make this city, right? And they call it Night City because after the world is pretty much into shit, they want to have one city that is new, like a new New York, like something technological, and they make the best city and everything.
Oh, this is
And
California saying that?
no, this is like these companies wanted to do it,
Uh-huh.
right? They just
Silicon Valley,
no,
pretty
it was
much.
yeah, it was just a rich guy who dreamed of having a city free of crime and poverty and just back to the way things used to be. But he said, but before our governments ran our cities and that didn't work out. So we should let the corporations run the cities because the corporations made billions of dollars back in the day, and so they know how to run a company, so they would know how to run a city. And so they built this big city, and it was technology driven, and people like it was so technological that people who lost limbs were getting like limbs replaced, robot arms and things like that. It was super technological, and it was pretty much the future, brand new, and it was all generating euros, which is the new currency because the dollar doesn't exist anymore. Europe united, most of Europe, and they now the euro is the bigger the currency that the world uses.
So
So then the corporations run the city now, and the city's in California, and the city is so big that the city becomes its own state, like Washington D.C., like it's its own thing, you know. Well, during that thing, uh, there's and I'm getting into spoilers here, but basically there's wars within the corporate companies. They want more control of the city and they want more control. They start being greedy with each other because there's more than one corporation, and they start having wars with each other. Um, and there's these guys, and one of them, his name is Johnny Silverhand, and he is like this rock star. But he's kind of like Rage Against the Machine, where they're against the government, against corporations and shit like that. And he gets involved with these kind of like real terrorists and shit, and he kind of gets into it. And so he kind of gets really involved in it. And they go and they set this nuclear device on the Arasaka Towers, which is like the central tower in the city. And he just wanted to shut down the city and shit because they fucking hated it. And he went up there and he put the nuclear device up there. And they fucking exploded the nuclear device. But before he exploded, he was killed by this guy named Adam Smasher. And that guy, Adam Smasher, is like this big military guy, this crazy fucking guy, and he's pretty much transformed his whole fucking body where he's no longer even human. Like he hardly has any human parts anymore. He's more robot. He's
okay.
more robot than human. But he has all these. He's huge, and he has all these guns and shit like that, and he's crazy. So
There's
they
this one episode, well, not episode, but
well,
there's this one show on Netflix that kind of reminds me of that. But proceed.
And so what ends up happening is that they take Johnny Silverhand, the leader of Arasaka Towers. I forget what his name is, some Saburo Arasaka or some shit like that. Um, he Somebody who works under him had made this program, and the program, what it does is, because this old man, he's an old Chinese man, he's really rich, but he wants to live forever like the gods, and he knows he's thought of a way to live forever. It's not really living forever, but basically they made a program, and what the program does is that the program copies your personality. It copies you 100%. And then in the future, everybody has a little slot back here, and they can, they can see TV and check their email and stuff through their eyes. But if I have some music or a program or something that I want you to watch, I can give it to, like, give you a USB, and you'll grab it and stick it in your neck, and you'll see it. And it's like that. Well, they put his engram. The program, what it does is that it copies your fucking personality. It copies you, the way you are.
Can make a clone out of you.
No, then it puts it in a USB. And then you can take that USB and put it into somebody, like a young person, like a little child.
And they'll think it's him.
Your personality will take over the body.
Yeah.
And so you'll live again. Even though it's not really you, it's just a copy, a personality copy of you. So it's kind of weird because you're not really living forever. So,
bro, this is a show in Netflix, bro. It came out like 3 years ago.
Okay,
it's the same fucking thing, bro.
So that's the program that the old man made. And so to test it, since Johnny Silverhand blew up the fucking city with a nuclear bomb, the old man was mad, and he said, "I'm gonna check this, like, because they never tested it." He goes, "I'm gonna use you as a test subject to see if it works." And so they copied Johnny Silverhand. They killed him, and they copied him, and they kept him in a chip, right? And that was between the year 2020 and 2023 when that shit happened. And that's where the game starts in the present day. And so the present day starts, and it gives you 3 choices. The game gives you 3 choices. You can be a nomad, you could be a street kid, or you could be a corporal. If you're a nomad, you start in the desert, and you start as a smuggling operation, trying to smuggle something into the city, and that's how you make your way into the city, and you make friends, and blah blah blah. And your story starts from there. If you're a street kid, you're already a street kid, so you know the gangs, and you end up running into some guy, and you becomes your friend, and that's how your story starts. And if you're a corporal, you're already at the top of your game. You work for the people in the corporations. And I think what happens is that somebody fucks you over and they fire you, and you're trying to clear your name or some shit like that. And that's how your story starts. Everything starts different, but the main story is the same. Eventually, for whatever reason, you end up with the chip that has Johnny Silverhand's thing. And you're going to sell it to somebody. And you're being chased. You don't know what the chip has. And so you end up just sticking it in you to hide it, to keep it safe. And you stick it in you. And when you stick it in you, the engram starts working. And you start seeing Johnny Silver. You start seeing Keanu Reeves. And slowly he's taking over you. He's going to replace you, basically. And you're trying to get rid of him so that you don't die.
That is well, I mean, like I said before, that's a fucking show that Netflix showed like 3-4 years ago, maybe.
What's that show called? Some of these glitches.
Altered Carbon.
Carbon. I've heard about
Altered Carbon. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that show is good, then that's why I want you to know that Cyberpunk story is good. Like, I fucking love it. It's been pretty cool. And what's cool about it is it gives you choices as what you say, and different things happen. The characters react differently depending on what you end up saying, and it's pretty cool to have shit like that.
So I'm going to tell you this. It's 8 out of 10 on IMDb, 8.6 out of 10 on TV.com, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really good, bro. It's really good.
It's got glitches. It's got glitches, but it's good enough. It's good enough to play.
It's good enough to play, bro. Good enough to play, bro.
It's only going to get better because they're going to fix stuff. They're going to fix stuff.
Hey, if you like shit like this, check out the full podcast on the link to the right. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for our weekly podcast. Peace.